Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, in the deep crevices of, well, not East Williamsburg. Not tonight.
No. Like,
Talk to him.
Little switch up. You know what I'm saying? With what used to be straight do or die. What used to be Bed-Stuy Fly. Now I guess, mostly just known as brownstones and cafes. But, the middle.
And artisanal juice bars.
Artisan pizzas and mad vegan treats, but at the same time, still gangster, still, we do or die light, but
forever gangsters, forever.
The middle of the style, Bedford Stuyvesant.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You know the deal. Tell these niggas who you are, son.
I am who I am, and bees who I bees. The one, P Still, aka obviously Lightskin Bandit for those who know me as that. Showtime, Shaw Money, whatever.
Whatever alias.
the man of 1,000 faces, I guess.
Not 1,005 holds.
No, the man of 10,000 holds, but that's more for the ladies.
10,000 holds for 10,000 hoes.
A lot of them are armbar though. Nah.
Many of them are arm bars. So welcome back to the Triple P, the Perfect Plex podcast.
3 P's.
I'm your man, Liquid Snake.
You know what I'm saying? Always liquefying.
What's that? Professor of Thugonomics? Is that the degree that you gifted me a couple episodes ago?
The liaison of Thugonomics.
Liaison of Thugonomics. What would that job look like? How do you liaise Thugonomics?
A big ass bike chain and the big lock and mad wristbands
and a quick 16 to
and once again the creed of hustle, loyalty, and respect. You know what I'm saying?
I thought it was never give up.
Well, boy, you know what I'm saying? You said you graduated, right? I mean, look, once you get to the, once you get to the lime green T-shirt and the,
that's when you graduate to hustle, loyalty,
I'm
respect.
saying the lime green
the HLR degree.
That's when you a doctor, son.
That's like your doctorate. There you go.
I'm saying
the HLR degrees, and
shout out to Brother Scrams.
Brother Scrams, future doctor of Thugonomics, if not one already. I don't know if he has his lime green Cena shirt yet, though.
No, he just has his Brownsville Brown.
He just got the armband. One armband.
Oh, half an armband and an unfitted.
Damn. Is it Lisa John Cena unfitted?
Oh, no, definitely not. No. I mean, the best you could do is a NWO or possibly a Stone Cold or even a Mankind joint of some sort. You know what I'm saying? Even a Coco Beware.
I always wanted that hat that had the Mankind smiley with the mask on it. Like there was like a hat that had the little, had that on it, and I always wanted it.
Yeah, they had a lot of Mankind paraphernalia that didn't rock for whatever reason.
Well, it's weird trying to commodify a madman. Except selling, the Mr. Sacco.
Oh yeah, back in '96 and '97. You can package.
Clever move, charging probably like $25 for a Sacco.
Probably.
And it's just some sock, some fucked up sock.
I mean, shit, the T-shirts went for about $30, $35. So
yeah,
the sock.
Yeah, because you had to pay for shipping. It's just
shipping
fucked up.
And handling.
It's so fucked up.
Mostly handling.
Anyway, folks, speaking of shipping and handling, as you can tell from the wrestling-oriented verbiage that we have here, we're going to have a wrestling episode, a wrestling episode.
Sports
with, a little adobo sprinkle of USC action, as there were 3 events in the last, 2 weeks, roughly? Or so,
about a week and a half, or just maybe like a full week or so.
Which is, great given the state of the, how has this nigga been calling it? The CV? Yeah, let's go with that. We'll go with the CV. Given the state of the world with the CV, the UFC really scrambled together to put on these shows. And shout out to Jacare, by the way. I hope you are well. Apparently, he was positively diagnosed with the CV and could not fight, which was very unfortunate.
It'd been nice to see him, but
which is a very
wait. Shout out to P. Ewing too, son.
Word. While we're at it, get better, P. Ewing, who also has it. Hopefully you will make it through. I'm sure you'll be fine.
R.I.P. to brother Sloan too.
Oh man, there's a lot we have to get to in regard to that. I'm just gonna throw them all together since we're already talking about it here. R.I.P. to brother Jerry Sloan. I guess one would say beloved coach, even though he was a fucking madman as a coach. Definitely beloved in Utah.
No, it's funny because he definitely was a cool dude, but I guess more beloved in Salt Lake City and I guess maybe Chicago to a certain point.
As one of their sons.
Yeah.
So R.I.P. I found out about that today. That was crazy. So one of the NBA coaching greats, especially in the half court game and pick and roll type or centered offenses. Very smart coach.
Yeah, man.
So close to winning it, but unfortunately hit the Jordan ceiling, and you know how that works out usually. So
Jordan Fishnets.
R.I.P. to Shad Gaspard. Definitely beloved wrestler. Given the circumstances, he unfortunately drowned. Where is it, in L.A.?
Yeah. I mean, definitely some SoCal
pier,
shore somewhere. Yeah. I forgot exactly.
And apparently he got caught in a riptide, and the lifeguards were able to save his son, which he told them to do.
Yeah.
He went under and unfortunately drowned. They found him yesterday.
I believe so. Yeah. Or the day, no, well, because we're Sunday now, so
yeah,
on
so
Friday.
Now the day before yesterday, but
yeah.
Our condolences, obviously, not only to Jerry Sloan and all the loved ones of all these people I'm about to go through a little bit.
It's been a rough week, man. The Last Dance has obviously screwed everything up, but
I mean, yes and no. We were a lot more. The last episode we talked about The Last Dance, and we were a lot more kind of like, oh, this is awesome, and oh, this is awesome.
And
then all this
had
fucked
to come
up
right
shit
back to
this
reality.
week.
I mean, in regards to the whole virus thing, I mean, these things happening, they happen, but I guess that does help that it wasn't because of that,
Yeah, but I mean, it only compounded, all the other stresses and everybody else's.
Yeah,
life,
it didn't help. So it's like, all right, just on top of everything else, man.
So RP to Chad Gaspard. Condolences to obviously his family and his loved ones.
No.
Crime Time, even though I wasn't really watching the Ruthless Aggression era, I liked them, the little bit of them that I saw. And it sucks that they didn't really get a chance to, I guess, do anything else. I didn't really follow him. I don't know if he kept wrestling elsewhere. I don't know exactly what they were doing. But RIP to him. RIP to Hana Kimura, who apparently was found today, or now what is now yesterday.
I think Saturday morning.
They intimate that she killed herself due to cyberbullying. That is not confirmed. I haven't done further research. I haven't seen any updates as of, whatever time it is right now, 2 a.m.
Yeah, they are.
This bleak Sunday morning.
Still under investigation.
So I'm not going to say that that's what happened, but she unfortunately is dead, and she was a member of Stardom. And
sad, man.
Clearly also very beloved. They are a very tight-knit community there, all those wrestlers. So it's very sad that if cyberbullying really had an effect on her death or drove her to that.
Yeah, come on, man. Come on.
A lot of people have been saying this. Ironically, a lot of nerds who are also caustic in their own right, but also recognize that this internet shit really is not, that serious. She's only 22.
Yeah. Come on. Come on.
Man. And I don't want to belittle anybody's bullying or what they go through or any of that.
No.
I myself was bullied. I get it, but I guess most of us were at some point in our lives.
Yeah. At some point.
So it's very sad that someone who was clearly talented, promising, and
Had basically the whole life ahead of her, man.
Was so affected by people who are essentially, I don't want to say useless, but like clearly have nothing in their lives. If if what they get joy out of is to fucking troll, some wrestler.
Yeah, just bringing that negative energy, man.
Just to fuck with them, just because they can.
Yeah.
It's like South Park a couple seasons ago where fucking Kyle's dad was like
he was the ultimate troll, man,
and he was like addicted to it. And I think that's how it is with some of these people. I think some of them are monsters, yeah, but I think the vast majority of them are just people who are like, yeah, I'm gonna say this fucked up shit.
Nah, bro,
it can't get traced back to me.
It's false validation. It's a false sense of independence, and it's
especially if Joe Rogan talked about this recently. A bunch of now public podcasty type of figures talk about this a lot. Like, they want to see you have that reaction to whatever it is they say. Then they, like you said, they get that instant validation. They get that clout. They get that whatever it is they get from that. And I personally was never, I'll argue on the internet with nerds, but I was never about fucking going to harass somebody or fucking, insult them or insult their family or insult, how they look or what they wear. It's at the end of at least with this shit, definitely it's all about wrestling at the end of the day, and it's unfortunate that that had to happen. Whatever it is that ultimately is proven to have happened.
Yeah, a lot of people have.
The point is, she's dead.
She is.
I would say rather pointlessly, or I think a lot of people would say rather pointlessly. If cyberbullying was really the thing that pushed her, I know very little about Hana. Like I didn't. I know very little about Stardom, admittedly, so I'm not gonna make assumptions about what it is. I'm just going off of whatever other reports.
It's just another sad tale, man. Another sad song, bro.
So R.I.P. to her, and I guess that's it. Hopefully for now. It's easy to be like, well, these things happen and life goes on and things like that, but
it's not easy, but at the same time,
I don't know. I know I'm just some mortal being, but I can never help the feeling of like, why do the seemingly good people, like, why did they suffer? And there's so many villains in the world who aren't, and everyone says everyone gets their comeuppance in their own time, and God works in mysterious ways, and all these things that people say about karma. But it's still very frustrating to see unfortunate things like that happen and see villains get away with murder every day and see no punishment.
Hey, look, the good ones the good ones are put here to really be able to deal with that type of shit, man. Unfortunately,
sadly.
No, I mean, like, whatever you want to call it, superheroes, tragic heroes, if you like an English major or some shit. But
I don't know, man. As someone who is tried to be a hero and felt like he was a hero by suffering for others and whatever, rather selfishly, honestly, because it was still
it's not easy.
It was still ego based, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was still very much like I'm, I'd be sucking my own dick because I'm like, I do this and I do that and I take care of this person, I take care of that person, and
But then again, it's like you said, that's the ego shit. So it's like,
exactly. I can't focus on the fact that I do it. I do it because I can, not because I need the adoration.
Validation.
Although I'm not gonna front. Thank you is nice every once in a while.
Every once in a while. Not all the time. Whatever.
But let's move on from those like existential crises. I'm sure we have enough of those to get through on this one.
Definitely.
We're gonna start with the last 3 UFC events, as I mentioned. I just wanted to get those RIPs out of the way because they were very tragic, and damn, people use that word a lot. Like death happens, and I don't want to belittle their deaths, but they definitely deserve some level of mention for the impact they made on the world. And now, clumsy transition to UFC discussion. Hooray! We're gonna start with UFC 249, which was a nice little mega show. As I mentioned earlier, Jacare didn't get to fight Uriah Hall, which would have probably been a banger. But it's cool. Hopefully we get to see that Uriah Hall Tyron Woodley fight if Tyron wins in a week. And I mean, you know, we're gonna start the undercard, I guess, because there was a lot here. What stands out to me really is, out of all of it, is Cowboy getting robbed.
Yeah.
In his fight versus Anthony, I felt like, you know, he pretty much was kind of controlling the fight with his range and striking, much more aggressive. And not that Showtime was getting whooped, you know, whatever. It was a nice fight.
It was a championship level fight.
I just don't think he won it.
At best I would have called it a draw.
Yeah, I would have taken the draw and seen the run back. I'd like to see the run back anyway. Fuck it. Just so that Donald could stop losing. This man needs some victories, man. He's too good. He's too good to be on the slide. Right?
Cowboy, man. A roller coaster, man.
So that was cool. Any added thoughts? You know, looking at this undercard here. You know, for context, we missed, you know, the first couple fights. We missed the Carla Esparza, Michelle Karate Hottie.
Yeah, no, just like half the prelims, but most of them were good. Yeah, like I said, you know, the Verdum fight was cool. I may have called that a draw too, but honestly, that first night was very, honestly, surprisingly entertaining, and it does remind you more of like Ultimate Fighter, with, you know, you can hear the coaches and you can hear, you know, whoever may be in the crowd. Should probably hear the popcorn dude in the back. But,
the cut man, you know.
Yeah, but honestly, you know, I wasn't surprised that, you know, they were able to have it be as much of a success that it was.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be weird without the crowd, but it really wasn't. Like you said, it was very reminiscent of the Ultimate Fighter. And I liked hearing. I've always wanted to hear what the coaches are saying anyway, even if I can't understand half of it.
Because you really only got that in boxing, really. Like during the time. I mean, during the, you know, in
the
between.
Corner man,
The
corner man sessions, and you can kind of hear the announcers a little bit, which is kind of cool. Which means the fighters can hear the announcers, so they're reacting to what they're saying. It adds a little.
That was funny because in between 240, 249, and that fight night that happened that next Wednesday, your boy DC, he was talking about that because he was like, after 249, like some of the fighters was like, yo, we can hear what y'all was saying, man. So he's like, yo, just quiet that down a little bit, man. Yeah. But honestly, I mean, overall, you know, 249 was highly entertaining. You had quite a few finishes. Your boy Ngannou, of course, that was nice. That was nice.
I can't. He basically just hit him with like the Berserker Barrage, like from Wolverine. Like,
yeah. He
there
just
was no level of technique. He just wailed on him.
He powered up, and then
There's
you
no
know,
respect, son, given for poor Jair, son. Poor Biggie boy got snuffed, son.
Yeah. It was
but you know, Francis has been mad because he feels disrespected. He thinks he deserves a title shot, which I think he does.
Yeah.
Will he beat Stipe? I'm not so sure, given how handily DC beat him when they fought.
I mean, for me, I'm guessing that well, because DC kind of already that was probably one of the funnier things about that night. Like, he had already thrown out the idea of, all right, you know, whoever wins this match, you know what I'm saying, I may end up fighting them, you know, just in case Stipe don't want the three-peat. But I
don't want to see Francis fight this dude again, son. He's gonna get horsed by DC.
I mean, either way, it's going to be a run back, and I mean, you might as well.
Francis already proved he can't knock him out, so he has to figure out how to beat DC, whose whole game is based on grinding you out.
I mean, look, but again, that's why I say it was a funny instance, because if you look at DC's face as this man was mauling.
Yeah, he's like, he like wins. He's like, ugh.
And like, I forgot who it was, but he was like, yo, you sure you want to?
You sure you want to fight?
He was like, yo, I beat him already.
Who that was announcing with them? It was Paul Felder, right?
I believe so.
Dominic Cruz was fighting.
Yeah, I believe so.
Felder they got.
But that, you know what I'm saying? DC had that damn. I kind of threw that out there, so.
Nah.
No, I mean, look, it has to be that, because like
I don't want to see that fight again, man. I would rather see Francis get the title shot. He earned it.
Francis should be number one contender overall just because of that. But just to make shit more enticing, him and DC, they see what it is. If DC beats him again, and Francis can't be mad at anybody, son.
I don't even think it's about that. I just don't think it's worth the time eating up. You know what I'm saying? Like, DC's clock in particular, like, he's on his last couple fights, clearly. So, like,
Yeah,
I don't want to see him waste a fight. I don't want to say waste, but I don't want to see him do a fight he already did that he already has the advantage in. It'd be different if Francis beat him and he wanted the run back.
That's true.
That said, I think Francis would come out way more motivated to beat DC if it happens.
But again, that's why you have that fight, son.
So I wouldn't be mad if it happened. I just would not. If you have to put Francis to if Francis needs one more win, then I'd rather see him beat another highly ranked heavyweight than, you know, even though that's what he's been doing. But like,
yeah. But I mean, outside of Brother Blades and
Black Beast, I think, which he beat them already, right? I think he beat them already.
I don't think so. Maybe Black Bear, but I don't think he fought Blades yet.
Yeah.
Because Blades hasn't really fought too many high profile dudes, son. Truthfully.
Nah, I feel like he snuffed these niggas. He snuffed all these niggas. All right, he beat Blades, snuffed him.
He already lost to Stipe anyway, son. So he lost to both of these dudes, man.
Yeah, he lost to Black Beast via decision.
Yeah, he lost. Yeah.
And then beat Curtis Blades again, so he beat him twice.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's when he knocked him out. I remember that. He duffed that nigga. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna risk getting caught by you. Then he beat Washed Kane.
Washed Kane.
Super Washed Kane. And then he beat Junior very handily. And again, just like he's just been clubbing all these top ranked heavyweights.
So I mean, he ain't fight DC then.
Yeah, he did. Somewhere. Oh no, he didn't. I thought he did.
So he lost to Stipe. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
So he lost to Stipe. That's what it was. That was his title shot. Why did I think he fought DC?
Yeah,
What
DC.
am I thinking? It doesn't.
I thought that too, because I mean, I Stipe has been wilding, but
Yeah, no. Clearly, I was just stoned
stoned or drunk, but
and forgot. So at any rate, then your point stands because that's a fight that hasn't happened before.
and that should be number one contender.
I still think DC has the chance against him because he's proven that dudes who rely on their power to finish you can't beat him. Unless Francis Ngannou, suddenly ups his wrestling game even more.
He wouldn't even have to do that. Just he's
If
already
he managed to get on top of him, punch him in his fucking face a few times, that might be enough. But
the few fights I've seen him in, he's already up. He's increased his boxing enough to where I'm like, he the same way Stipe came at DC, he's gonna come at him, son. And
but I think he's also gonna try to grapple him a bit and use his size advantage because the obvious game plan for Francis would be to come and punch your head off. So.
Yeah, that's an intimidation factor. But
you're fighting a guy who is one of the best heavyweights ever.
True.
So it's you can't. That's what it is. I think I'm thinking of when he fought Rumble. It's a similar matchup.
Yeah, no.
Because Rumble was this freight train.
No.
And
niggas done seen DC fight too many times, and you can't just knock him out, son.
It's not gonna happen.
So that's what I'm saying. And Francis seems like
the only time we seen him get knocked out is the juice kicks and Stipe. Knocking the wind out of him, son. The John Jones juice kick, son.
Well, I mean, you can call it the juice kick, the coke kick, whatever, but
hey, it was perfect.
It got the job done,
it did what
okay?
it was supposed to do.
In more than one match, all right? But yeah, nah. I mean, I guess that's more.
I still think he deserves a title shot now, personally. But, especially since you don't have a lot of fights as cool as DC versus this dude would be. He is on such a momentum, right? Like the story tells itself. He has such momentum.
That is true, but DC still has the champion advantage in that he did lose his ship, so he never really got his rematch. So, again, it has to be one. Like I'm like, look,
he's on this like hopping in and out. Like he's like, all right, I'm almost retired. Oh, but I might fight this one more time. Oh, but
no. I think the way Francis looked the other night has him thinking otherwise, son. Truthfully,
yeah, maybe that competitive thing in him is like, yo, I could beat this dude,
or not, because he sounded real confident till he seen Francis knock this nigga dude's dude.
Punches at this dude.
So again, just because of what DC was saying, that's an intriguing matchup, but whatever, man. Outside of that, UFC they had their fight nights or their fight. No, yeah, they had 2 fight nights.
Yeah. Well, as for the rest of 249, just to wrap that up quickly, Henry Cejudo smoked Dominic Cruz. Greg Hardy's bum ass barely beat Jorgen De Castro, who I'm surprised didn't really put it on him, but I definitely think he was a can. Even though they're around the same skill level, clearly. But Greg Hardy, sweats out another decision. I am eager to see him fight a more talented person so they can knock him out. But
that would be nice. It was a lot of bro love in that match.
But again, given what we talked about with fucking villains getting away with shit, he's gonna go like fucking 12-2 or some shit.
Probably. Yeah, it's gonna be wild for you. Really faces. They're gonna hide.
He already got 6 wins, so maybe a fight or 2 more. Because he said he's trying to be active, to his credit. But
that's fine. But whatever.
Anyway, next fight, Calvin Cutter versus.
Yeah, he knocked out Jeremy. So
Jeremy Stevens, which is another one. He's in that cowboy boat. He's like, damn, you came back, but then you got Smiz notes.
Yeah, got knocked out with an elbow.
Smiz notes, and I forget what fighter who knows Calvin predicted that he was gonna knock this dude out, and he totally knocked him out. So I hope that dude bet some money. We already talked about Francis in the co-main event. Henry Cejudo worked Dominic Cruz, who looked a little kind of rusty out there.
I mean, yeah and no.
Yeah, no. He's still Dominic Cruz. He still got the movement. He looked good.
I mean,
shape,
he looked older, but it wasn't like it wasn't
like washed.
No,
just
no.
rusty. He just looked rusty, and he coming in against a guy who was like determined. So he's like, "Fuck this shit."
Dominic should have had a tune-up match, man.
Yeah, I think so, but I think he thought because he came in last time out of that long layoff and won the title, he thought he could do it again.
Yeah, but
I can admire that confidence, but
that's cool. But that was mad. That was years ago.
But you're coming against a double champion who is like on the super hot streak right now.
And retired after.
And then promptly retired, which I don't know if that I don't know if that's a serious one, but
no, I mean people who really know what it is in that realm, they say he's just probably chilling. He's going to show for like a year and then probably come back.
He'll do what most people do when they say they want to retire. They're gonna take that vacation, and then that Jordan streak rises up in them again when they want to compete. Or he's probably waiting for crowds to come back. If and when crowds come back. Maybe he might contemplate coming out for a money fight.
Yeah, no. I mean, he's gonna be their next commentator.
But if he did retire, that'd be cool because he could be that next commentator, and those 2 belts will be up for grabs again. And
2 belts.
The divisions open up again because he's just gonna smoke everybody. So there you go. Hopefully Dominic is back for good though. I hope he's not hurt. Like he always gets hurt like every fight, and he makes that run.
I don't know.
One final run before having to retire.
Dominic is another one that just seems like it may just be, all she wrote, man.
I don't know. I just think this is a bad matchup for him, personally.
I mean, again, bad matchup.
Especially coming off the layoff.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like you came up against this super elite wrestler,
yeah. So and he's
who actually outstruck you. He wouldn't even wrestle. Fuck you. He just beat you up. It's cool. It was a good fight. Very quick. And then in the main event, which was, I guess, not shocking, like given how good Justin Gaethje is, knocking out Tony Ferguson, who once again proves that the fight between him and Khabib is cursed and that it will never happen.
I mean, this fight doesn't help that. But.
It's not gonna happen. That basically knocked him down the ladder. Getting not only did he lose, but he got knocked out at the end of the fight.
Yeah,
Like,
he got outclassed, and it was bad.
He actually stood the chance to get back into the fight, and then just got murdered.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, man.
So, I still think Justin should have fought Conor, but because I wanted that Tony. Even if Khabib horsed Tony, then at least we would have finally got the resolution of their drama, their saga.
Can't even say it's a saga, bro.
It is. That shit is cursed. This fight was supposed to happen like 4 times.
Yeah, but that it's just a story. I mean, it's not a saga if they never fought.
But that's what I'm saying. This story of like
it's just a story, but
even crazier than Conor trying to fight Khabib for 2 years that he was talking shit.
Oh yeah.
So that was 240. That was UFC 249. A very nice card overall, given the talent and number of fights. It was fun. It was a good time. Then, as the Bandit alluded to, there was the UFC Fight Night that next Wednesday, on May the 13th. Seeing Anthony Smith versus Glover Teixeira in the main event. And Big Ben Rothwell, who for some reason just won't die, in the co-main event against OSP, Ovince St. Preux, who we hadn't seen in a while.
Yeah.
He looked great, even though he got beat up a little bit, but did look good.
As good as you can look, I guess.
Getting your ass kicked, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I personally, Brother Get Right watched more of this card than I did. I didn't have a lot of interest personally.
No, I watched more of the prelims and like a couple of the main card joints, but
yeah, I only watched the 2 main events because I didn't really know anyone on this card. I didn't know that many people. I knew Sajara Eubanks, who won, which is great. But
I mean that fight it turned out to be something. I mean the Eubanks fight was all right. Outside of that, everything else was just pretty much a wash.
Pretty standard,
On the main card, like I said, the prelims, the Benitez and what was that? Morales fight was all right, but other than that, it was they were pretty entertaining fights. Like I said, more with the prelims because it was not too much to look forward to and anything else, to be honest with you. But I appreciate them stepping out and doing what they do. But
yeah, these events are still popping. I think a quick aside or not a quick aside, I think that fight nights are a good idea to have many of because you now have a chance to really push these new stars that you have not been pushing in all these years that you've been sucking off Conor and John Jones and all these people. Like, now is the time to really fucking fill the void with talent. Like, you have a lot of talent, and this is their chance to really shine because people watch. Not to jump the gun again, but the Angie Overkill fight versus Claudia Gadelha was mad good, son. Like,
no.
But we're gonna stick to Glover versus Anthony Smith. That was the one I watched and really cared about. Anthony Smith was laying all types of hands on Glover early on, but then the wily veteran, saved enough in the gas tank. Anthony appeared to gas out. It was very unusual because in his fight versus John Jones, he was fucking good most of the fight, just bouncing and moving. So I don't know what happened this fight. Maybe Glover had his number or just Glover. I don't know. Most of the fight, I really thought it was just going to be Anthony just beating up Glover by points and by decision, by unanimous decision. But Glover just, caught that sneaky hands he's known for. So, so good for him. I think that concludes a slide that he was on, right? I think he had lost his last couple, if I recall correctly. Anthony definitely really needed this win, though. If he was trying to get back into title contention.
Yeah, I lost
versus
it now,
John. But we'll see. It was a good fight. Yeah. It was okay. Although the next fight night, which is UFC 176, also emanating from Jacksonville Arena, like all the events did.
Anything that's live and
with the co-main
direct.
events of your man Alistair. My lip got totally split, and healed up pretty nicely. Or
Overeem.
I have really good doctors, Overeem versus Walt Harris. Another a fine decorated, wrestle boxer type. Gets busy.
Definitely had a real story going into the event.
Yeah, his daughter died, right?
Yeah, she kidnapped and unfortunately, killed in I believe Alabama, but yeah.
Like it sucked that he didn't win. Not that I wish a loss on Alistair or anything like that, but he could have taken this loss. Not that I'm saying he should have taken the dive. Take the dive.
No, but it's just
he kind of needed this win, especially since his face got destroyed in his last fight. So
yeah, I mean they both needed this win.
They needed it. So it was a very fairly action packed affair. Alistair doing what Alistair does, picking you apart with his versatility. And
yeah. Almost got
he kicked Walt in the fucking dome.
No, he did. He definitely. It was almost a stoppage in that first round, but
yeah.
They,
as usual in this dude's fights, always coming back from the dead. But the Demolition Man takes it. I guess this will, this and another win or two will put him back in a title contention.
Yeah, I mean he's another one. So.
Yet another
roller
title
coaster.
Shot.
Man.
This dude is 46-18. Like it's so crazy. So, like,
yeah, I guess it would be nice to see him win, but the reality is he probably can't beat the top 3 dudes in the heavyweight division. But
he could. I just don't think he will.
I guess that's the better way to put it.
It's just his again.
He has the potential to do it, but he just won't.
He has the skill set, is what it is. Like it's not so much potential because niggas haven't figured out kind of.
Yeah.
But his skill set is still so good that, especially given the kicks and shit, the kickboxing he has.
Still the most versatile heavyweight probably ever in like UFC heavyweight division. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Besides, maybe Bigfoot Silva and guys like that kind of added shit to their games later on, but he's the most versatile.
It'd be him, probably just him.
He can do everything, and so
maybe Kane, but
maybe Kane, but it just shocks me that he can never seem to put it all together and it culminate in the title.
Yeah. Plus, he's like you're getting old, bro. So it's like you're supposed to be able to at least figure it out to get 1 or 2, then get that chip, and then after that,
Well, I feel like the sense of him that I get is that he wants to, and this is speculation here, erase that juicing, the past juicing, and have his legacy be one where he was a dominant fighter, without cheating. And I don't know. I don't know personally, but I guess that's how I'd be feeling if because he could retire right now, niggas wouldn't even be mad. Like he's definitely a Hall of Famer right now.
Yeah, definitely.
But he wants that chip. He clearly thinks he can get it, and he's definitely capable of getting it. I just don't see him doing so. Again, against a man who already beat him.
Yeah, he came to the UFC too late, man.
Well, there was a lot involved in that, and you know how Dana White is with a lot of these fighters, and they get into spats with him and have those war of words or online shit or shit talking.
I mean, well, look, if I'm Dana and I already have Brock, I'm not worried about Alistair. Truthfully, out here at least. Overseas, maybe, but I get it. But,
Nah, he should have definitely been trying to get Alistair.
Alistair may have wanted that bag, which they didn't have back
I think he wanted a lot of things. He wanted that bag. He wanted his brother also in the league because he also fought. He wanted a lot of things because, again, at the time, he was the biggest fighter in the world.
Yeah.
Until, that all that juicing shit came out. So there that is. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. I still wish him luck. I still think he could really. He at least has 1 or 2 good more runs in him. He clearly is, being in shape is not the issue. He looked great. So, again, his face was miraculously healed. Thank God.
He is starting to look like like some villain in some video game or some boss. I'm saying
looking like Sagat and shit. So that was fun. The co-main event: Claudia Gadelha and Angie Overkill. This is the fight I wanted to see in the whole card because Angela gets busy.
Yeah, she definitely did.
And she got busy, even though Claudia, again, this is similar to the cowboy fight in the last event. Like, they gave it to her, even though Claudia was getting the shit kicked out of her by Angela. Especially at the end of the fight. I feel like Angela.
But Claudia did have her on the
She
ground.
had her rounds, man.
She
Like,
did.
she had her moments. That's why it was very, again, like you said about the cowboy fight. I feel like it should have been a draw, or Angela should have got it, because Angela turned it on at the end.
Yeah.
But hey, good for Claudia, inching toward yet another title shot. Where she may or may not get smoked once again. But we'll see. We'll see. Because I want to see Angie more. So like, if she loses, we won't see her as much, and I don't want her to get cut.
I won't say she needed this win, but it would have helped.
She needed this win, especially since she won the goddamn fight.
Yeah.
It's whatever. So the fight before that was Dan 50K Ige versus Edson Barbosa, which was kind of crispy. Very, very decent affair. I thought Edson was going to hit him with a hurricane kick, but Dan Ige kind of really fucked him up pretty handily, for an accountant, right? Dan Ige is looking real crispy out here in his last couple of fights, man. I want to see more of that. Because he just looks like the most normal dude, but he's just beating the shit out of niggas. Like, fairly methodically. Like, he reminds me of Kenny Florian. So, just like the most normal, or like Rich Franklin, like the most normal looking motherfucker is like a UFC fighter.
Those be the ones, man. Those be the ones.
And, he's cool, man. He seems like a cool guy. Eric Anders versus Christoph. I don't remember this fight. I feel like we weren't watching this one, or the stream cut maybe. Yeah, I feel like we weren't. I don't remember. I really don't remember it. I remember them fight before it, Song versus Marlon Moore, and that was just fireworks. So that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, a fun event. Preliminary card was. Oh yeah, I remember some of these. So Matt the Immortal Brown getting knocked out. It might be a wrap for Mr. Immortal, Matt Brown. The rest of these I don't remember very clearly. I don't think we watched these because I definitely don't remember any of these. Besides, I only remember Matt Brown getting knocked out. That's when we started watching it. So, there's that. So, no offense to any Kevin Holland fans who won by knockout, or, Darren Elkins, who apparently lost. But I didn't see those fights, so there you have it. At any rate, next fight is Tyron Woodley, the return of the God, rap star extraordinaire.
Yeah, that's going to be part of the next cast, folks.
Yeah, I hope it's good, man. Tyron has a lot to prove. I feel he needs this one, especially since they front on him so much. And
we'll see, man.
I feel like if he gets, one or two, finishes, they can't deny him, really. They wouldn't really able to deny him a title shot. But
no, because again, they need characters, and
he's a character. Man.
They need, I'm saying, so we'll see.
And
man.
Again, it's my annoyance is I've talked about this before. Like with this, is Tyron isn't always the nicest dude, but there are a lot of not nice dudes in the UFC, and they get off in a way that he does not. And obviously,
assholes prevail in the fight game of any sort.
I get that,
so
I understand that. You see Conor, the ultimate dick, but it's Tyron. They talk about when Tyron does the same moves as some of these dudes, and you'll hear Dana or some of them being like, "Oh, well, he's more disrespectful," or "Oh, I don't like his tone," or "Oh, I don't like." I'm like, nigga, we know why you don't like him, son. We don't know. We know why you don't like him. Because if he was white, this wouldn't be an issue as much. I still think they wouldn't get along, but
that's hard for me to say just because of fucking Bones.
It seems
bro.
like there's bad blood there, but again, Bones is the number one fighter in the world, so of course you're gonna fucking bend over backwards for him. Man, that makes sense.
He's still black. So,
yeah, absolutely.
And again,
he's number one. If he was number one, they wouldn't be giving him all this weight.
So again, color ain't got nothing to do with it, son.
I bring up Mighty Mouse all the time. Look at Mighty Mouse. He was number one for mad long. They didn't give him the level of fucking push that they gave John or Connor or any or Ronda Rousey. And I get it. They draw their money. I understand all that.
That's all Danny cares about. Yeah. That's all the fuck he cares
but again,
about.
That goes to the point I made earlier. If you're not trying to build other stars, Because he seems to be on that. Oh, you got to reach for that brass ring and have these performances or whatever. And there are
Yeah,
certain
Vince McMahon
fighters.
shit.
There are certain fighters who get
But
super busy.
Vince McMahon was never good at building
And
stars.
you never
Though.
see that. Like you never see dudes like that. That people who are very, very clearly talented, and you're still putting on certain dudes that are still fighting for some reason. A lot of these dudes are still fighting for some reason. I don't know. I'm not a fight promoter. I don't pretend to understand. I don't know. I hope Tyron does well. is all I'm gonna stick to.
Yeah,
With
man.
that seems to be the only interesting fight as far as I can tell. Mackenzie Dern is fighting. That's gonna be interesting. I don't know who Hannah Cyphers is. I recognize the name kind of. Blagoy, even though he's one of those big fucking bruiserweight type of dudes who knocks you out. Right? Yeah. He's a Sambo nigga. I don't know. It should be good though. Should be good. And I guess that really kind of comes to the end of our UFC coverage. There's nothing really on the horizon except for 250, whenever that is. Get to see Amanda Nunes get busy against Felicia Spencer.
Yes, another one of those, not really star-studded, but
it'll be fun. Devin Clark is a good fighter. Like Juicy Formiga gets busy. Like this is like a card for the nerds. Like all these people are good fighters. So this is what I was talking to. I was like, this is the chance to really,
like you said, just people who really normally wouldn't
get that main card time. They're getting that main card time. And then we get it highlighted by a championship fight in which Amanda will probably destroy Felicia Spencer.
It's just I'm hard pressed to believe it's just not a knock the fuck out.
Yeah, yet another
knock the fuck out affair.
Cyborg affair. So that's gonna be fun, and that's in June 6th, and we'll cover that next time. I guess we're gonna transition to wrestling. Tonight was, or I should say yesterday now, because it is now 3 in the morning, right? Or almost 3 in the morning. 2:30 in the morning. We saw Double or Nothing tonight, and it was great. It's a good time. Given that, I guess this is, I always see Double or Nothing as their WrestleMania because this is their space for that pay-per-view. It comes in May, of course, but it was their first pay-per-view, not counting All In. So it was nice to see a show that kind of still took advantage of the gambling motif coming out of Daly's Place / TIA Bank Field in Jacksonville, because Jacksonville is the only thing that could I guess go on here. So in the buy-in, which we missed because we were having stream issues, the Best Friends beat Private Party, which is really kind of sad actually. But I guess I'll watch that match later. Next came the Casino Ladder match, which was Freshly Squeezed, Orange Cassidy, Joey Janela, Luchasaurus, Scorpio Sky, Frankie Kazarian, Kip Sabian, Darby Allin, and Colt Cabana, and a mystery person who would then be revealed, true Royal Rumble style, at the end, who turned out to be Brian Cage, hottest free agent
in the
that
pathway
people
of
were
Cage.
much speculating after for about a month or two now, or more. And he looked great, and he came out and he bodied everybody. Is pretty much what happened.
Well, no, he got jumped first, then he bodied.
Yeah, he got
everybody.
jumped first, and then they hit him with the Brock Lesnar sandwich where they buried him with the man wreckage.
And then
everybody
they
get their offense off.
They put him under the big ass poker chip, and somebody stomped him, I believe, and mad other shit.
Yeah, it was a fun match. I didn't think it was going to be, given how many people were in it.
No, it was definitely, it set the tone for the evening.
Jimmy Havoc was
Definitely.
also in this, right? In that one.
Yeah. Jimmy Havoc with the blood suit on.
But yeah, it was a good time. And then Taz brought out Cage, and
And Angry Taz, as JR said.
Angry Taz, and it was cool. It was a good time. It was a great match to open the show.
Yes, definitely.
It was a little sloppy with all the ladders and stuff, but it was a good time. And
Yeah, they figured it out.
it introduced Brian Cage very well. He dominated, but like didn't quite like monopolize the match. You know, he got
No,
everybody
no.
still got all their moves off. Everybody, for the most part, still got to do everything they got to do. One thing I loved about this, before I guess keep going, is I loved that they had a lot of the locker room in the crowd, in addition to whatever workers are working in Jacksonville or
And
Philly's place.
new faces. There was a lot of nice faces in the crowd this evening.
Yes, yes, especially Big Swole, who was the MVP of the evening because
Oh yeah, she definitely had the
hear
ad
her
libs of the
all
night.
and
I'm saying,
she just
yeah.
really amped up everything. It was hilarious. Like I
Yes.
forget what spot it was. I think it was during the ladder match where like someone like did a bump in front of her and she's like, "Ooh, my Jesus!"
Nah, that was the Cody match.
Yeah.
Cody and she also had the you got knocked the fuck out
Yeah,
reference
she
in
definitely
the
did
MJF
Friday
match.
Got knocked the fuck out reference. So good. She definitely was huge in this pay per view. The crowd was very good, including the Gun Club was great with their goofy
Yeah.
costumes.
Yeah.
Everybody
whatever.
in the crowd was clearly smacked.
Yeah, they had a couple of swigs. Why not, man? It's a pay per view.
Time.
You can loosen up a little bit.
So that first match went off, and it concludes with Brian Cage essentially getting their version of the Money in the Bank,
The big coin.
the poker chip, the giant poker chip.
Yeah, the big poker chip.
Getting a title shot for whenever it is he's going to cash that in.
So,
I
yeah,
assume it'll be at All Out.
Probably.
Probably at All Out. They got to like develop his story and introduce him into the fold and stuff.
Yeah.
Next match was MJF versus a Jungle Boy Jack Perry, as JR likes to say.
Yes. Definitely a wrestling classic.
It was, man. It was very, very technical, which was shocking given that MJF is like, this heel wrestler type, but they just wrestled.
Yeah, he showed.
Wrestled and wrestled.
He showed his range. I mean, we saw a lot of range tonight. I can say that.
For sure, all over. But in this match, it was just very, I know people make fun of, like, saying methodical, that things are methodical and that things are, especially like Randy Orton matches, things are slow paced and technical. But this match really was good.
Nah, it was a wrestling match where they built it up to a certain apex. And shit, even the way it ended was because it wasn't even like it was a finisher type of end. It was just,
No, it's just he wrestled. He beat
Yeah.
the wrestling thing.
A wrestling move.
The story of the match was MGF kind of weakening Jungle Boy's arm, his right arm, I believe it was.
Yeah. And him just having the advantage because he had already beaten him, because with the whole record thing.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he had already beaten him, so he has not champion advantage, but
He had him
the
scouted,
winners. Yeah.
But they had like a fight. Like, this was very, like I said, they did wrestle, but they also like slapped each other a
Yeah,
lot. They
yeah.
fought. There's a lot of dick grabs and posturing, which was fun.
It reminded me of a good New Japan match, man.
It was,
truthfully.
yeah. Or a match like you would see for an IC chip, or
Yeah, like a SummerSlam
it
match.
was, it was good. These guys are
Or
definitely
back when SummerSlam was
these
SummerSlam.
guys are definitely the future, and
Young, bro, 22, 24. Come on, man.
so it was good, man. It was very good. I wasn't expecting it to be, honestly. I knew it was gonna be good, but it was good. Man.
Like me personally, I felt as if they did what they were supposed to do, then they should have stolen the night. But truthfully, the night was so good to where
Yeah, they just had a good wrestling match. Like a really good wrestling match.
they had probably the wrestling match. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Outside, like, because the other matches were kind of like gimmicky or whatever.
Storytelling matches, like
Yeah, but they had the like wrestler match.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Because the next match, which was for the TNT Championship, which looks like Iron Man's Silver Centurion red and silver armor to me.
Yeah, that belt sucks, man.
It's a very cheesy looking title, but
They got to do something with that.
one Iron Mike Tyson
presenter
Presenter
extraordinaire.
of the really corny TNT Championship, which was
Extraordinaire.
that was a waste of all that money that they paid that man to come out with that corny belt.
Yeah, and then as brother JD said, son, he's not easy to fucking book, man.
No.
Well, he's not cheap to book.
No, but luckily he loves wrestling, so they were able to.
But
get
he's
him.
still not cheap to book.
Nah, I'm sure they paid for that man.
Yeah, I mean, maybe half. Yeah, they probably threw him the equivalent of maybe like half a pound, and and whatever other decimals he needed. But they probably threw him like half a pound, and however many stacks.
They had to throw a pound up front, and then
Actually,
and then
no.
the extra money, so.
I'm bugging. No. They would have to throw him at least like 2 or 3 pounds and some
And
coins.
some extra like on top of that. But he came out. Mike looked good. He was very much like the drunk uncle seemingly during this match, like enjoying it, like looking. He went from like bored to like
He
into the match and cheering Cody on or whatever. Like he definitely looked very smacked. I would guess that he was.
That's how you know he was smacked because
insanely high. So.
I guess he came out just wanting all types of carnage and. He saw a wrestling match, but then he got into it as shit
and
got
they were
a little
like in his
turned
ear,
up.
they're like, Mike, we need more emotion. Come on, Mike.
That's the problem, boy. Everybody want old crazy Mike, son. Until you really get old crazy Mike,
He's
son.
Zen Mike Tyson, but
Yeah, come on, he's Zen
but
Tyson.
he did get involved in the match.
There was no left hook.
Unfortunately, no punches, but he got shirtless. He looked great.
He was shirtless Tyson.
Tyson to scare Jake the Snake off from cheating. The match was pretty much your standard, grudge match. Lance Archer looked really good in it.
Yes, he did.
Even though Cody won the chip, which I have reservations about, but I get why he did. Because you can't just hand the nigga the title who just got there.
No.
As impressive as he looked, like you can't just hand it to him immediately. But Archer looked great. Like he started with his finisher. The faces he would make into the hard cams and stuff like that were great. Like he really played up his performances in the match. Like
only thing I would say is he plays to the camera a little too much for me. Like you don't have to look at the camera and have spit on it every fucking time.
Well, I think that was good storytelling because in the end it kind of cost him. Like all those times that allowed Cody to get back into the match, all those times he mugged for the camera, which is what heels are supposed to do. So it's like it gave me a sense of who he is as a character. Like he's not just some big beef nigga who has funny hair. Like he showed me what his character is tonight.
Well, depending on how they go about it.
Depending on where they go from here. Obviously, they're going to continue the feud because.
Yeah. No, he's going to be Cody for the title, or I would.
Yeah, or just brutalize him, so that Cody will have to give up the title or some shit.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, he's somebody you should put some belt. Well, Vince doesn't like niggas calling it a belt, but somebody you should put the belt around. But,
Championship.
You know what I'm saying? Title, whatever the fuck they want to call it.
They don't even want to say title shot anymore. They don't even say title shot anymore. That's a banned one, I believe.
I don't give a fuck what they want to call it. All right.
At any rate, it was a good match. Fairly, standard. The managers tried to interfere until they were ejected. Lance basically beat Cody up most of the match, and after the managers were ejected,
Jake came out with
Jake was ejected and tried to come back out with the Snake, which is what made Tyson get up and out of the chair to scare him.
Yeah, and then Tyson became the enforcer, and then he took his shirt off.
He took his shirt off. He basically caused a distraction. Lance Archer went for the blackout, and he countered into the double crossroads.
The double
crossroads.
The double up on the crossroads.
For the win. Cody wins a chip. I feel weird about him having a chip because he's the boss. But again, I get why he has it. And they could do this in a couple ways where it would work very well. They could either do John Cena's open challenge run, and he just is TV champion and like defends it every episode, and just like it starts to wear on him, and finally somebody beats him. Or Lance Archer just fucking mauls him because he lost and wins that title and runs with it for a little bit.
They could do
Until
that.
Someone like MJF or someone like whatever mid-card person they want carrying that title, like Jungle Boy or someone like that, gets the title.
True. I mean, to me, like the TNT title is obviously the CV belt.
Yes.
So I mean, look, you let Cody defend it 2, maybe 3 times on Dynamite, and I mean, if things were going well, then you could set up some old school shit like some old Chris Benoit fucking Booker T shit.
Yeah,
You got the
or you
best
could
out of
have
7,
him
but
put over Lance, or not put over Lance, put over some other person they're investing story time in, like
nah, yeah. That's why I say you let him. But the way things are going now, or the way I would do it now, let him defend it 2 or 3 times on Dynamite. Then Lance causes him to lose it to somebody.
yeah,
He loses it to you. Actually, just because he beat this nigga in the tournament, he loses it to your boy Darby Allin
that'd be good.
with the help of Lance, and you keep that beef between Lance and this dude going,
And then
possibly
Darby gets to rock with the title.
for a little bit, like because he's really he's yeah, like, and if you want anybody to be your TV title holder or your TV champion, it would be
The guy that
him.
the crowd really likes.
Yeah,
I mean, they
yeah.
have
Right
any,
now,
they
yeah,
have any number of mid-card targets.
they do. But like he's the first to come to mind. You know what I'm saying, when you think about like what that title would mean and what that exposure would mean.
Yeah, he can make it
saying?
interesting. And him so far, the character they've built for him is like one of a guy who can take a lot of punishment and a guy who's always like got a target on him. Putting a belt on him would put a target on him.
Then you bring back that beef with him and Sammy.
Yeah, things that they had during the tournament and before that.
Yeah.
And have him still continue his beef with the Inner Circle. So there's a lot of things they could do. I'm glad they finally instituted a mid-card championship. It was a long time in coming. Hopefully they'll treat this like the TV championship, and make it, a star elevator. So well done to Cody. It was a good match. Because honestly, I didn't think it was going to be. I didn't know what to expect.
Be
Cody getting mauled, which he was getting mauled a lot of the match, but like I didn't think it was going to be like enjoyable, and it was.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect when it came to that, but it was a it was a long red braided
Affair.
bash.
Yeah, I like that moment where he fucking put the hair across the eyes and he had him in the cross face.
Yeah.
That was funny. Anyway, next match. Congratulations, Cody. Brandy conspicuously absent from this match, even though they had told the story of Jake the Snake harassing her and shit. But
No, she was she came out for the
oh no, she came out later.
Shawn
I was
Spears
just
and,
shocked
yeah.
that for her husband's title shot that she wasn't out there, because I thought she was gonna interfere in the match, and that's how Cody was gonna win.
Yeah.
But no.
But she was
just
traumatized from the snake.
Yeah, she was traumatized by Jake the Snake mounting her
with the snake.
With the snake. Next match was Chris Statlander versus Penelope Ford. This was supposed to be Britt Baker, Doctor Britt Baker, DMD.
Doctor Britt Baker, baby.
Baby versus Chris Statlander, the Galaxy's Greatest Alien. Is what her name is, and
well, we still have yet to prove.
I love me some Chris.
I mean, I do too, but it was a lot of ill aliens.
So this match was cool. It was aight. We saw half of it, basically, but it was cool. It was okay. We saw the good half.
I mean, we saw the finish too.
Yeah, and the finish, which is Statlander hitting the Big Bang Theory, which is that crazy package tombstone she does.
Yeah, which is nice. She does look cool doing it.
Yeah, I think I like I was saying during the match, I look forward to getting her better and her getting better in the ring and having better matches, because I'm definitely a fan of both of them. But I really like Chris. I think she could be really good. And AEW, I feel male and female, that they're doing a good job of developing their faces, because you need faces. And
because they realize you can't have a league full of assholes.
And you can't have your league be top heavy either. Like, even if you did have a league of assholes, like you need a curve of talent, and this was a good match for that. Like, this is a nice palate cleanser match after the Cody winning the title.
No. They've realized what WCW didn't do, and they realized what WWF used to do, which is, like you said, the first of all, you're not top heavy, but even your top level, you have a rotation. Not to mention like your mid card, but like you can't even really say who the mid card is because the TNT title was cool, but they're still gonna have to come out with another title, bro.
No, yeah, they still need their intercontinental,
It's US, whatever you want to call it.
whatever that's gonna be. The TNT title is clearly their
The
TV
Dynamite title.
Yeah, whatever that's gonna
The
be.
Dynamite
title, like or X Division or whatever it's gonna be. Like,
Actually, no, because this dude, that should be it though. Like I was cool with it being, it's the ring shit, the
yeah, but
fucking
he's
the
not
Dynamite
defending-
Diamond.
He's not defending it, so it makes me feel.
Yeah, because nobody called him out for
So
that.
it makes me feel like it's just a prop now of his and not.
It
thing to be
is.
defended.
It is, but at the same time, like I said, that's because nobody has called him out, and they have to realize that because the way they presented it was being, unless they're gonna do it like yo, you can hold the ring for like a year, then you gotta either defend it or give it up. But one way or another, bro, you can't be the only one holding the ring, son. That shit is corny. Son.
We'll see. I still think unless they start defending the ring or unless he starts defending the ring actively.
Like I said, I'm cool because that's a whole new wave, and like, to me, that
well,
would be the IC chip for the ring,
and
boy.
it's a new wrinkle in his story because clearly they are getting him ready for a title run. So,
Yeah. So like whenever he loses that, like it would be hilarious if Darby is the one to beat him for that, or it's just some weird dude like Jungle Boy or somebody that's totally not corporate or not.
doesn't care about like
Yeah.
basically. Like,
I mean, Sonny Kiss won't be anywhere near that, but that would be incredibly
that would be perfect for
interesting.
him. But
Because Sonny would probably switch the color of the ring and switch the diamonds up, but whatever. You know.
it'd be something. But at any rate, we'll see. We'll see what they do with that. But I'm glad that they finally have their TV belt. Dustin Rhodes versus Sean Spears. I keep wanting to call him Ty Dillinger.
Brother Ty.
Dustin Rhodes, they did kind of the fake out where they thought he was injured and wasn't going to come out for the match.
Yeah, they played the Dustin Rhodes intro, and he was like, "Yo, y'all are stupid. It's mad easy to fool y'all."
This was very much a Goldust match from like 1999. Honestly, like.
Yeah, it reminds you of like Goldust and like Jeff Jarrett.
Literally all it was because like finally Dustin came out and like tore his clothes off of him and then spanked him.
Yeah, you've seen a lot of Sean Spears crack this evening,
Yeah.
and not to mention he had brother Tully Blanchard.
On his cocks
Well, not on his cock, but obviously on his briefs. The outers.
pretty much on his cock.
It was on the
On the
briefs
cock regions.
covering the cock. All right, but whatever.
It was hilarious.
That's
Tully Blanchard.
whatever story they trying to tell when it comes to that.
I don't know what they're doing with Sean Spears, man. Like I have no idea.
And look, again, I get the whole fandom when it comes to Brother Ty and Sean Spears, but to me, he's at best, mid-level mid-carder, son. He's not even a high-level mid-carder, son.
Heel. That's it.
He's a
I
mid-level
just think they don't know
mid-carder,
what
son.
story to tell with him yet because first it was.
But whose fault is that, son?
Well, kind of theirs. The initial story was that he hates Cody or whatever, right? And the Rhodes family, which a lot
And
of
it
people
didn't work.
seem to do.
And it didn't work. No, his best story was that of him being the perfect 10, and even that didn't work because he was not the perfect 10.
I just like him being this obnoxious mid-card heel backstage. Like, I think it works.
All right, so look.
I think
That
I think
means-
that's his stride. I just don't know what they're doing with his character.
So look,
like,
we
what's
was
the point
talking
of
about
having
look.
Tully Blanchard on your underwear? Like, I don't.
We were talking about cliques and crews earlier, so that means they've already kind of done it with the whole no crowd shit anyway. Him and MJF and Tully and fucking Wardlow.
Be like
Make it
the
stable.
Be like the $1 Million Squad or whatever.
Yeah. Then you have some weird beef between him and MJF, the asshole beef, and
Yeah.
because sooner or later, Wardlow is gonna do his own thing. What they do with him after that, I don't know, because I never really seen him before any of this. But
Yeah, he's only
him and
had-
MJF, they have to break
He's only
up.
had 2 matches, so it's like,
Exactly. And Cody, and the reason, they had that cage match, and Cody turned up by doing the moonsault off the
Yeah,
cage.
but they had to tell that story.
Yes.
So yeah, it was just silly shit. It was literally a Goldust match from the '90s. Brandy brought
I
him out,
know.
and
It'd been nice if he really
Brandy
came.
came out when they played his music again. He snuck in on Sean, tore his clothes off, spanked.
Why doesn't he do the Shattered Dreams anymore?
I don't know.
Is that like
He
a?
did
Could he get?
did it. I feel like he did it a couple matches ago.
So he can't get sued for that.
Well, he just can't call it the Shattered Dream.
That's what I'm saying. You could do the move, but like JR could be like, yo, certain dreams were shattered.
because he has a different. He calls the that curtain call, which is not the curtain call, the final reckoning now. So,
Well, I mean, we got a whole new fucking version of the Dust of Gold.
yeah,
I mean, he's Dust of Red now. He's Red Dust. He should just be Red Dust now, son.
That's a weird name.
Or Black Dust, whatever.
Nah, he
Or
don't wanna
Dust
be Black
Juice.
Nothing after he was Black Rain all those years ago.
Black Dust.
So yeah, it was whatever. It was. I don't even know why it was here. I get that they had to fill some time. I guess.
Nah, because Sean Spears was talking shit about him, and he had to get beat the fuck up.
Yeah, this is just a Dynamite segment. Like they could have put something else. But it was whatever. It was funny. Brandy was looking fine, so it's cool.
Given the way the night went, it worked. You know what I'm saying?
It was there.
It was a nice appetizer.
Yeah,
You
it
know what
was
I'm
there.
saying?
Again, it was a nice house cleanser. It was a good compliment to Chris Penelope Ford.
And you had to put something in between that and the women's championship match, which we are transitioning to now, I believe.
Yeah, Karushita.
A very sexy Cairo, O'Hara, excuse me.
In the Tifa from Final Fantasy VII outfit, which looked great.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Fantastic. And she also
Yes.
wrestles fantastic too. This match.
I mean, they both did. They
I mean, they had wrestled.
it was a championship match.
Before, but the non-DQ kind of upped the stakes of it. It was very violent.
It did. I mean, yeah, it was violent
A lot
enough.
of Hikaru Shida like running knees and shining wizards like she does.
Yeah.
She did a cool like judo hip toss. That's how I knew she's strong. Hikaru Shida, like
She did the hip toss, and like right even before they went to into the crowd, quote unquote, she did kind of halfway throw Nyla over the fucking
ropes,
gate too.
Yeah. And then after they were fighting in the crowd, she like threw her into the ring.
Yeah. That's what I was like. Oh, I mean, we can talk about the super duper Falcon Arrow, or we can. I mean, but I don't know. You may want.
The only other element that they had that made this different from their previous matches was the kendo stick. Now that it was legal,
Nyla brought that out.
Kendo stick as opposed to Hikaru.
Yeah.
Which was interesting change up. It was black and gold. It looked cool. There's a black and gold theme heavy tonight in AEW. There's a lot of that. I noticed.
I guess because last year Double or Nothing was in Vegas, and I guess they were just trying to keep that kind of
that theme going, I guess.
yeah,
So
real shiny. Even though they was in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah. So it was a brawl for most of the match, and after all them knees and brawling in the crowd, Nyla hit her offense, including that killer fucking knee she does. She doesn't have it. I don't know what the name for that is. That jumping.
I've not
jumping,
heard, but yeah,
knee
that
she
top
does
rope
off the top
knee
rope.
she does, which is nice.
I know she didn't hit the beast bomb or any of her finishers. She just hit that top. rope.
No, yeah, she just hit that cool power slam.
Oh yeah, she definitely hit that crispy power slam.
She got offense off, but she didn't get like her normal
Yeah,
offense
but
off.
honestly, I as I said earlier, I think this is Nyla's best match. It looked
the best championship
yeah,
match.
it was like
yeah.
convincing.
Best
You know what I'm
championship
saying? It
match.
felt like a match. It wasn't like whenever she would fight Riho or someone who was tiny, like where it just felt
Yeah,
like she was
yeah.
overpowering them. It's just like it showed that Hikaru had the strength to beat her.
Ever since we can say ever since the birth of AEW, this has been her best match. But seeing her at those like previous events before AEW, like those real big cross promotional joints, I would definitely say she has some good ones prior to that. But
Yeah, I'm not saying she's bad. I'm just saying that
no. Like, but in regards to when, like, cause she's only defended the title twice before this.
yeah.
So in
It
regards to
was
like her
Riho
championship
against
run,
Riho and Chris Statlander.
yeah. So in regards to like just her being in the championship picture, even though she lost, yeah, this was definitely her best match.
Yeah, it was good, man. It was a good
Definitely.
one. That's why I wasn't sad that she lost the title.
No,
Kind of surprised, but not upset. Because
yeah, no. If it was me, I would have had at least one more match with them. Then,
well, I
but
think they'll have the blow off. I think she'll try to get her run back against her.
honestly, at this point, I would say they probably gonna have a little 3-peat with them. So
Or they'll like be in a triple threat with somebody else.
Because I mean, what else do you really have?
In the female division, you got some people. You got Yuka Sakazaki. You got Britt Baker.
What stories do you really have?
Britt Baker really is the only one they've really developed.
And
Because all the
she's
other
injured.
the rest of the divisions like in and out of Japan, like basically. So
And the reality is, you still have to build.
and you still have to
Britt,
build
son.
them because you're still building Swole.
So-
You're still building Chris Statlander. You're still building.
No, like
You're
again,
still building
you,
all these other joints that you have just hired. You still have B Priestley, who may or may not be on the roster. Like you still have a lot of talent that you can draw from. But a lot of
Yeah,
it seems very
yeah.
part time, and
But,
and given
you-
the state of the world, they don't seem to be able to get to Jacksonville, so their options seem limited.
so you might as well just rock with what's working now. Then in the middle of that, you at least have to have the run back with Nala. And
Yeah, I think I would like to see that. So
that possibly a cage match.
that'd be nice. So as we stepped on the ending of Hikaru beat Nyla for the title. After all the brawling we talked about, they got back into the ring. Hikaru Ishida hit the crazy Falcon Arrow off the top rope.
It was something
It
to
was
be.
beautiful.
It was nice.
quite
It was sexy.
And somehow didn't beat her with that. But then she cracked Nyla in the head with the kendo stick with the ill Frank Thomas swing.
Yeah, she cracked it one good time. Then I believe she hit her with a either it was a suplex or a German suplex on the kendo stick.
She cracked her with the stick, hit her with the German suplex, and then hit the Shining Wizard.
Then Nala kicked out. Then she hit her one more time with the fucking kendo stick. Then sat her up and hit her with the even
The Shining
crazier fucking shining
hit her
wizard.
with countless Shining Wizards.
Yeah, and then it was night.
But yeah, it was great. It was a very good match. Much better than I expected, honestly, given that they had wrestled before and it didn't really like wow me. Even though I like Hikaru a lot, I liked her since she got here. I am so glad they're pushing her now.
But it was good. It was good. They had that other match. That was
Yeah,
the
'cause,
throwaway
I mean,
match.
It was just different enough. And again, like
That means all their matches from here on out are going to be crispy, just because now they know each other.
but
So that's why you got at least had a three-peat.
I was highly impressed. I mean, I knew Hikaru was good, but like she showed how good she is. Because all her other matches before were just her doing knee strikes and not really getting much offense off. And
You know why?
They didn't
Because
have
like
her talk a lot because her English isn't like great.
no,
You
this was the first time they gave her like a real
they gave her an
promo.
actual promo before the match, and like
The problem is she would always be in like either like fatal four ways or like matches when it
she would
wasn't.
get lost in the Joshi shuffle.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
it was like like everybody else would get their offense, so
they
they
were
create.
pushing
Yeah.
Riho. They were pushing Riho hard body.
They pushing Riho and Britt.
Yeah, hard body, and that makes sense because Kenny, that's her dude. So they were pushing her heavy, and
Man, Kenny.
this guy. But,
I'm waiting for Kenny Chaos, man.
so we'll see. But again, great match. I can't wait to see Hikaru go on a run. I hope they don't hot potato the belt. I don't think they will, because this title's been hopping around a little bit since its inception. But
I mean, you've come to your third champion, but that to me is more of like due to circumstance as opposed to planning. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. But they also planned this Hikaru run. Right?
Nah, cause like I mean, we know like if the virus and other shit didn't happen and
She
you know,
might not
Nala
have
being
won
injured,
so early. They might have let her go on
Nah,
an
like
even longer run.
no, Nala's run just would have meant more because,
Yeah, she
like I
would've
said,
beat
the
more-
virus
And she would
and.
have beaten more people. She would have got
Yeah.
more title defenses off.
But the reality is,
Again, they inexplicably suspended her. Maybe she was injured. I don't know.
Yeah,
but she wasn't on TV, and
And,
I was like, all right,
like,
well, if
man.
she's your champion, why isn't she on TV? And I get that they were mostly trying to. They've really been concentrating on this inner circle shit, so versus the elite. So I understand that there's time. You know, there isn't time for everybody.
I honestly speaking, if I were to pay to see anything, it probably would be that the inner circle against the elite, as opposed to the the Nightmare Squad,
Nightmare
Family of Nightmares. But you only have one dude that can wrestle though.
Yes, basically.
So it's Cody, his girl or his wife, and
It's Cody,
mad
it's
old
Cody,
niggas.
his wife, and mad old niggas. Glacier, DDP, and
Arn
Anderson
Anderson.
is your coach.
You don't have no see like that's where Cody's fucking up, son. You gotta have some.
Yeah, you got to be like Jericho, where you got your young boys.
Boy, where's the
Well, it was supposed to be MJF, but then they told the betrayal story, which I still think they told the betrayal story way too soon. But I get why they did, because they had to start building MJF on his.
I mean,
his
but again, all right. So if you say it's too soon, then when would you have done it?
a couple months later, to have MJF, because again, going back to your point about defending the ring, I would have had him defend the ring actively, and developing more emotion involved, because you saw it coming because of who he is.
Yes.
And I feel like if they'd given it more time, they would have developed more of a, you can believe that MJF really is this nigga's friend. And even though he's a fucking asshole, he cares about him. And that would have made the betrayal much more sweet. But, like, I feel like they rushed it. Again, it was good. It was still good. But they rushed it. And I felt like he should have been defending that ring and on his run. And he's been on a run, so it's fine. But, like...
Yeah. It just hasn't been for the ring. But like I said, that's because they've left that loophole open, and nobody has challenged them for. They never even set no stipulations for that shit, son.
So I don't know.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, so
it's a thing to be defended. Like, honestly, because they don't talk.
Unless somebody, like, that's what I'm saying. Unless somebody's flat out says, "Yo, I want the fucking ring, bro. What's up?"
Happened yet? So I feel like it's not going to. I feel like that's just his cheat.
No, it has to be like I said.
To cheat with, but like
it has to be like it can't be somebody that like you would like. I saw it has to be like an outlaw. Like I said, like your man Darby. It has to be somebody to be like, "Yo, I want to take your identity from you." And you seem to be like you. That ring is what you're fucking. That should be his story too, son. MJF like, "Yo, I'm the man."
Yeah,
you see what it is. You see the black diamonds, all of that. Then somebody should be like, "Yo, nah, I want to take your fucking identity from you, son." Like some real. And it can't be John Maxley, but like I said, your man Darby.
Someone in the mid card, but
I mean, if you want to do it on some ill shit, your boy Brian Cage could cash in for the ring, son. You could just say, "I don't want the no."
It wouldn't make sense because you step on his intro for the ring. That's
yeah.
Nothing. It's nothing. Again, the ring is not an established prize. That's something that can be won. So
that's why I would do that. That way you establish more status with it.
It's not believable because Brian Cage is gonna destroy this man. Like, unless they're gonna tell the story of Wardlow's always interfering, which is boring.
No.
It doesn't make sense to do that.
Like I said, that's if
for Brian Cage to torment whoever the top dude is. Because he's the top dude.
But again, that's if I'm really trying to put more stake into that ring.
Yeah, but you waste him by putting him in the mid card. MJF is still a mid card guy. He's a higher mid card guy, but he's still a mid card guy.
Yeah, like I said, I'm more looking at it in regards to just investing more into that perception of what that shit represents. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just going by what is established, which is that the ring is just a thing he has.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think he should defend it. I think they should make that more of a thing. But let's not make this about MJF stinking ass.
No. It's just all about the ring and them diamonds, man. Them black.
So
them fangs.
Next match after the very fun Hikaru Shida victory was Jon Moxley versus Brody Lee,
a.k.a. Luke Harper,
a.k.a. Vince McMahon, a.k.a. Luke Harper in suit, a.k.a. a lot of things. He's been fun to watch.
He's been fun to listen to, man, because he's gotten way more mic time than he's ever gotten.
And I love that he's, gotten to prove his point, which was I was always able to do this, and these niggas fronted on me constantly.
Yeah, until they made us the Bludgeon Brothers.
I don't feel bad that Vince McMahon feels bad that they're making fun of him. So. Yeah, he doesn't like that shit. Niggas don't like.
Man, who cares?
Niggas don't like the Mr. Brody Lee shit, but
who gives a fuck?
They care, and WWE loyalists care, but because you'd be surprised, man. Niggas are like, oh, shit is in bad taste. I was like, it's a great story. I think it's dorks. But everyone is entitled to their opinion, so it's fine.
And everybody that's saying that obviously were probably a bunch of lames who didn't understand what NWO or WCW was doing back in '95 and '96.
Or they weren't born doing.
I mean, look, if
a lot of these wrestlers aren't as old, a lot of those fans aren't as old as we are. So
that's fine, but hey, you do your research.
Most niggas won't.
All right, so you
It's just
you
easier
have
to
no
argue on the internet. That's just
you have no right to criticize if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. All right, that's my main thing.
I
If,
agree
if,
with you. But that's half the internet.
once again, if you don't know what you're talking about, then you're just a fucking lame. All right.
Yeah.
And again, we were talking about bullying and online shit, but like I said, I can't feel bad about a bunch of lames that don't have.
I don't know. I don't want to. I don't ever want to get on niggas for having passion about a thing or like putting a lot into storylines or putting a lot into.
Yeah,
the
but
show.
again, look, you could be a fan, but remember, fan is short for fanatic. And look, I'm sorry, we can argue all we want to with sports and all that, but the shit ends after we turn these mics off. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, you can feel the way you do, but understand that just leave it in the ring, leave it just on the field, leave it just on the court. You know what I'm saying? Because
it's hard to do that. People are political, and politics exists everywhere.
that's fine, but look, we're in a time right now where none of that shit really matters. All right, like we could do this cast. I mean, we could do this cast all the time, but the reality is, after a certain point, we just be making shit up just to talk about. You know what I'm saying?
Or
Like, we you know what I'm saying? No. I mean, again,
about,
I'm saying?
hitting the,
the LJ and all that. You know what I'm saying? But and once again, folks, stand by for the Snake Pito. But
it'll be a special episode. I'm trying to get guests for that.
I mean, well, not special episode.
Within
That's
reason. Within reason.
That's just another segment. You know what I'm saying?
Zoom meeting or
And
something,
that's just us showing y'all a different side. You know what I'm saying? Just
stay tuned.
different level.
Stay tuned for that. But going back to the title match, it was good. It was very very to be expected. Each man knowing the moves of the other very quickly. It was very much a brawl.
They've been around each other for at least the last decade.
Yeah, like this is another very methodical match. Again, methodical in this case, not meaning terrible. It was just very what you expected out of them in just brawling each other and fighting each other.
See, we say methodical now because we got out of the fucking time of wrestling matches, or like most of our matches being like psychological or having stories to them.
Also, this is still very much, I feel like this is still the beginning of their feud.
Which is a weird feud. I mean, if you want to talk about shit being rushed.
Yeah, it's a little.
I wouldn't have done this quickly, but I understand.
It's a little bit. Yeah, they need
circumstance.
Something.
Circumstance.
And Brody Lee is, besides the Inner Circle, is arguably their most important heel character right now. So that they have to develop. And
yes,
especially since Pac, doesn't seem to be on TV. Death Triangle seems to not be a thing right now. Sean Spears is a mid-card heel. MJF is a mid-card heel. You need like a top heel. You need top heels, and he definitely fits that bill very well.
Pac, that may have just been one of those situations where he's overseas and
he can't come. There's a bunch of dudes like that. He just can't make it,
which sucks. But whatever, because he can still do promos, even being overseas.
That's true. I don't know. But this match was I liked the litany of suplexes that Brody Lee was doing throughout the match to John, onto playing cards, onto various things.
He definitely.
That was cool.
I'm saying because again we already know Brother Brody could perform in the ring, but he definitely showed you a little bit more than a lot of the matches that I've seen on the fucking network, man. That being the E network, but yeah, I mean, I seen him in ladder matches, tag team matches, but he showed tonight that not only does he have the championship ability in the ring, but he has the championship pace, which a lot of people don't have. You know what I'm saying? He knows how to put on a full show when it comes to him being in the main event. Well, the co-main event, but especially considering the fact that I don't remember him ever getting a fucking title shot in WWE, son. Outside of a main title, IC title, like I said, him and Dolph.
Well, he was in I feel like he was in triple threats for the IC chip when the Wyatt shit was going on with Randy Orton. But
no, but yeah, I know all that.
But
no, he
never got a direct.
No. Like I said, he was again, he was the IC champion, and like I said, I remember him and Dolph having.
But that was early. I'm saying like later on they just stopped.
Yeah, that was like
They
2014,
stopped
whatever.
booking
But
him, like period. Like
yeah, he kind of got that. He got that off of the residual effects of Wyatt, of Bray, and just what the Wyatt family meant back then. And deservedly so. And him and Dolph had some great ass matches. But he never got a shot for the WWE title because the closest he got was just fighting Randy Orton when he was the #1 contender. But
yeah, they fucked that up.
yeah, but outside of that, but again, like just watching him tonight, he proved why WWE fucked up by letting him go. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And you know what I'm saying, because he obviously is somebody that can not only, you know what I'm saying, cultivate a character and help cultivate his own character, but like I said, he can rock the mic or talk his shit on the mic, and obviously he can go into a championship situation and carry the match and do what he needs to do, whether he is the heel or the face. Because I've seen him in both situations. You know what I'm saying? So
Also, he bladed. That was crazy. After
Yeah.
a lot of their match, John hit a paradigm shift from the stairs of the elevated stage, the ramp, through the ramp, which was very nice.
I mean, it was like we talked about earlier. It was very Taz and Bam Bam-esque.
It was very reminiscent of that. They went into the stage. They were gone for a while. John crawled out as Brody, I assume, was blading, and came out and John hit 2 more paradigm shifts. Couldn't finish him. Which is cool because he's kicking out at 1 for these paradigm shifts.
He hit what used to be the what he used to call the shit. This I forgot what he used to call the fucking WWE, the fucking whatever that bullshit. Well, he has this double arm DDT or the butterfly. They called it the butterfly DDT.
Yeah, he did the dirty deeds, and then he did
dirty deeds.
Which is like the level 1 version of his finisher that he does, which is the even flow basically.
Which is a real double arm DDT. So.
And then when he does like the paradigm shift, it's the elevated shift.
Yeah, that's when he lifts him up and then yeah. It's basically like a double arm fucking. What was that? The execution.
Yeah. So
execution.
So he hit a couple of those, but Brody kicked out, and it was cool because then the story became of how am I going to finish him if he keeps kicking out of my finisher?
And fuck this dude.
I can't beat him, and then he just hit him with a bulldog choke out of nowhere, which is very
and just choked him the fuck out.
And then switched to the rear naked and put him to sleep. It was anticlimactic, but also good. Like it just kind of came out of nowhere. That he put
honestly, like if I had to recommend one match to watch tonight, it probably would be that one.
Yeah, the story was very simple. It was just like they had it out. You know, they committed very grievous violence against each other.
And again, like, you know what I'm saying, in regards to a championship match, they gave you everything you wanted, man.
Yeah,
you had the story, you had the psychology, you had, I won't say an ill finish, but you know, you had
it shows that Brody is a real threat because Brody has just been squashing people the last few weeks, you know.
But I mean, he's been fighting, you know,
Marco stuff and shit. But it makes sense though that he's just gonna get these squashes off and finally fight a real dude. And this didn't disappoint. You know, it was a good match. And again, I like that he put him to sleep. And it was that he put him to sleep. He didn't make him tap out. So
he knocked him out. So they kind of preserved the
Brody still looks good.
The character,
and their feud will definitely continue, I feel.
Yeah.
And finally, at the end of the match, the Stadium
Stampede. Which was basically the street fight from what, like 3-4 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago on the AEW Dynamite. It was a combination of that and Money in the Bank.
It was that time, yeah, exactly. It was that street fight times like 3.
Yeah, it was like Money in the Bank times 10.
It was the Brawley version of street fights these days.
With memes, like, because they did the Sammy getting chased meme twice tonight, which was kind of corny but funny.
Yeah, they ran it back.
Sammy was kind of the star. Him and Matt Hardy, they were kind of the stars of this thing.
I don't know. I mean, you know what? Yeah, but I don't know because everybody. You could say everybody kind of had their own.
Their time, which is again that's always good in a match like this, which is very chaotic early on.
Because the Hangman shit
was. You could tell they know what to film. Like, no. Early on, so.
Or they just didn't know what the hell they were really doing because
it was just everybody was fighting everywhere, all over the field.
They tried to make it into like a real movie. They tried to make it the what was that? The Funhouse match or
Yeah,
or
very
deletion
similar.
match,
No,
but
yeah,
it wasn't.
yeah, ultimate deletion, right? That was
Yeah, the ultimate deletion, but it wasn't a project or a production. It was just one big ass. It was like a match from like SmackDown too.
It was.
You know what I'm saying.
It was very much like those Sunday night heats where you have the empty stadium matches.
Yeah. That Super Bowl heat, son.
Halftime heat.
Yeah, halftime heat. Yeah.
So, like I said, it was very chaotic, and then they did the memes with Sammy, with Hangman chasing him with his horse. Then he entered the match in.
That was weird. They had the small ass ring in the middle of the fucking football field.
They were hitting
Which,
each other with football
again,
equipment.
even in hindsight, still doesn't make sense because they were in the ring like all right, the Young Bucks were in the ring.
Like you said earlier in the match when we were watching it, it made sense for them to have a ring because the Young Bucks had to get all their spots off.
But they didn't even do their moves in the ring, son.
No, they just did their simple. They did their
Yeah,
usual.
and then everybody
They
left,
didn't even
and
do
that's
a Meltzer
when
driver. They didn't do nothing.
no, son, they didn't, bro. Because
But
they
this match
went.
wasn't about them. This match was about Matt Hardy mostly, and
It was and Matt Hardy. I mean, Matt Hardy and Cowboy and Hangman.
Hangman, and like I said, Sammy Guevara because he had a lot, and Nick because he was coming back from an injury. Because
Sammy is the one they ultimately, not one to jump too far ahead, but Sammy is the one they finished the match with. Again, I don't know. Me personally, you could have broken that match up into like maybe 2 or 3 other matches. Because, like I said, Hangman and your man Jake, they could just had that ballroom brawl, son, which would have been ill. And you could have really turned that into like some real production shit because you could have played on the whole Hangman shit and like shot it like a Western and some shit.
I
but
think they did just the right amount of cinematic for this.
Yeah. No,
I feel like had they copied Money in the Bank the whole way.
No. That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't have did that. But for me, like I said, and especially in regards to like pushing the Hangman, that's the only reason why I would have separated him from that. But
which they did. I mean, they kind of did. It's just they didn't give him a lot of time because again, the match is about Matt Hardy. And
they didn't give him a lot of time, and like most of the time he got was just silly with the horse shit, which was funny, but after a certain point, that shit didn't really make sense. But again, I can't knock them for anything they did because this shit was entertaining. You know what I'm saying? So, like, no, it was. Like I said, the horse shit didn't make sense until he got off the horse and then went into the bar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The horse is just there waiting.
Yeah. So you might as well just had Hangman just chilling in the bar that whole time, son.
Yeah, but they wanted everybody to get their shit in. It makes sense because those two have the least personality out of their teams. So
that's why I put them in the production. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody, but whatever. The Bucks, they tried to do their pose while they was coming out with the smoke, but it didn't make sense because you couldn't see them. Matt Hardy obviously stole the show. Well, him and the Puerto Ricans. I mean, but it was definitely a good one.
That and Matt Jackson, not Nick. I always confuse them all the time. Matt Jackson.
No. Matt with the 1,000 fucking Northern Light suplexes. Even though it was only maybe 13.
Maybe 10 or 12, but it's still a lot.
But they made it seem like he was going back and forth 100 yards. Mad fucking Northern Light suplexes on Sammy.
Right. He was very good in this match. They managed to tell everyone's story. His returning, Hangman being a drunk.
Like I said, the only one that lost was Nick, son.
Yeah,
because Nick
he didn't really do much.
Nick kind of,
Just like Hagar was just there. Like some of them, even Chris Jericho, even though he had a lot of meaningful parts in it, he was just kind of just there.
He did what he was supposed to do, son.
Be comedy, like when he asked for the replay. That was funny.
Exactly. He did what he did what the coach is supposed to do.
Like, you're an idiot. He just kept calling Aubrey an idiot.
The fact that he bought the red flag out was hilarious.
Yeah,
he was like, "Nah, I'm
on
challenging
the
that.
plays,
What do you mean it was a 2 count? I'm challenging this shit."
That shit was funny, son. The many transformations of Matt Hardy after Proud and Powerful tried to drown him in the little.
Yeah. That shit got a little ridiculous, but it was funny though.
I like how you can see like the change of clothes like in the pool.
Yeah, you can see the robe.
But yeah,
you could see the
Hardy turned into
robe
V1. They had
and the
Matt, they had
fucking
the Matt facts, which is fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, the Matt 2.0 facts. Oh yeah.
And then
I mean, it was all types of various shit. Like you said, they had Sammy get chased by the fucking horse with Hangman. Then he came back out, and of course he got chased again by these dudes in the golf cart again. Once again.
I like that it was a fake out too, that they didn't get to hit him. Like he just
Nah. Nah, he did the Lambeau leap in Jacksonville, and that's when that was towards the end of the match when he was about to jump him, and then of course your man hit him with the one-winged angel off the whatever that was, somewhere in the third row off the.
Yeah, he hit him off the, I don't know, the beer stand or some shit. What that rallies?
It was like they set that platform up specifically for that, but it was somewhere like in the crowd, and then they had to set up for him to land.
From the entrance, like, hit him with some
Yeah, that was, you know what I'm saying. That was all types of sexiness, you know what I'm saying. But all in all, it was what they called it, man. It was a stadium stampede, and I give them credit, man. They pulled it off, man.
Yeah, they had a good they had the perfect combination of goofiness and seriousness, and not only that match, but in the pay-per-view. Like, we got everything wrestling wise that you would want to get.
Yeah. I'm saying I wasn't trying to pay the $50 to watch it, but if I had, I
wouldn't have been upset.
I wouldn't have been. It was. I can honestly say pay-per-view wise, even though there was no crowd and we're in a pandemic, that probably was the best pay-per-view I've seen in some time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they had to go in with this one because they were under the gun a little bit because they're competing with WWE. WWE has had a series of good shows, pay-per-view wise, the last few months. So they had to really show up tonight with, and again, something that was funny. Like, they had more comedy, I noticed, than wrestling in this, but they still had enough of wrestling for it to be interesting. Especially the way I would always complain about this with WWE in past episodes. Their match order really kind of, like, it was done so well that it was like, all right, here was the funny match and the lighthearted stuff, and then here's the wrestling, and then here's like the funny stuff and the palate cleanser, and then here's the wrestling again.
Executively produced.
It was very well done.
Somebody, you know what I'm saying, and I've seen that and I've noticed that, and that's probably their strength right now, just understanding the circumstance and the time and what they need to do in regards to their storylines and basically who they working with too, man.
Ooh. Excuse me. Oh man, that means that must be at that time. It's getting late. So I would give, I guess, if we're gonna grade stuff, what would you grade this pay-per-view? I guess that's what we do now. We grade shit. We out here.
Honestly, I don't know. I'll give it an A minus.
That's generous. I'll give it a B plus, maybe A minus. It was very entertaining. There were certain bits that I didn't understand why they were there, like the Sean Spear shit, but.
But again, all that kind of, and the only reason I give it an A minus is because Tyson didn't snuff anybody. Otherwise, it would have been A plus. But
yeah, and Tyson's inclusion is very weird here. Like,
that's why I give it the minus.
It was fun, but like that match could have happened with his not being there, and it would have been just as fun.
That's why I give it an A minus though, because it was still an entertaining match regardless of him.
Even though his involvement was very, I don't know, odd. Like, it's just clearly very Stone Tyson, just having fun.
Yeah, and within everything else, I mean, like I said, like considering it's a crowdless pay-per-view, or not a crowdless, but it's not a traditional pay-per-view. I have no complaints, man.
No,
I have none.
None of the matches are bad. Really.
That's what I'm saying.
I would definitely want to go see that Private Party Best Friends match, but I'm sure it's good. And compared to, because the thing about Money in the Bank, which was the last pay-per-view I watched, it was fun in the same way, but a lot of the wrestling was pointless.
It was weird.
A lot of it matches seemed very unimportant. All the matches here, even the Sean Spears shit, as dumb as it was there for a reason. There seemed to be a reason for it.
And that's what I mean. I compared it, because to me, this was better than Revolution, son.
Yeah, I mean Revolution is pretty good.
That's what I'm saying. But this was actually better than
They
Revolution.
tried to make this a WrestleMania caliber show given the circumstances.
Yeah.
And I think they succeeded not in making a WrestleMania, but a high caliber show.
Yeah.
Consistently good the whole time. Like
that's what I mean. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you pretty much got whatever you would be looking for in a pay-per-view, quote unquote.
Yeah, it was good. It was definitely worth, I'm definitely doing this episode for, because now we're running up on 2 hours again. And it was very enjoyable. It made me want to, because I hadn't been watching wrestling heavily in recent weeks.
No, there was no reason to.
I don't know. Given these strange times we're in at the end of the world, I had been concentrating on other things, or gaming, or listening to other people's podcasts. Or it's funny because I find myself as a fledgling podcaster listening to other people's shows more than watching the actual shows. And if something cool happens or if a good match happens, then I'll go back and watch it. But overall, it's better just to listen to my fellow internet nerds, give their analysis, because ultimately I feel like my support, my time supporting their podcast, at least giving the like or whatever, is better served than sitting and watching, say, a recent episode of Raw for 2 hours, 3 hours, and
that's a waste.
Only being entertained by like 10 minutes of it,
Nah, you can do way more with that 3 hours, man.
Exactly. So this kind of put a little shot in the arm. I'll watch the next couple of NXTs just to see how these stories develop. I'm definitely gonna watch Hikaru because I love her, and I'm glad she's the champion. I mean,
for the most part, Dynamite has been entertaining. What I have watched, so
yeah. I just again, and this might be, this is something I definitely wanted to talk to real quick, I guess, before we get out of here. But I personally think this wrestling shouldn't be happening at all. I may have referenced this in our episode before the last one that we recorded about The Last Dance, our Glorious Return episode, where I think they should just be on hiatus and paying these wrestlers and not having them risk their lives. I understand a lot of them want to do that. They want to entertain their crowd. They want to work. I don't want to take money out of anybody's mouth, but I would rather that everyone was safe than have y'all risk, entertaining the fans and trying to make money off of TV, and I appreciate that you have a business to run, and I appreciate that you have to make up for the huge loss that you're taking right now because of CV, and the huge losses many organizations are already taking. AEW is still very new, so they're still finding their footing. Now they don't have crowds, so they're not selling tickets, even though they were selling tickets like crazy. The E has been hemorrhaging money for years, and now this didn't help at all. Other organizations are in similar boats where, like, especially not having the resources that the top 4 feds have in the world, they might not come back, some of these. Like, at least not without support or without, some level of someone saving them. Like, actually, the E might benefit from this more than anything because they might be able to scoop some of these smaller federations and merge them into the E, or merge their talent, or have it be like Progress, right? It's Progress, where Progress is their little development league.
Progress and Evolve.
That's right, Evolve, not Progress. I always mix those two. Whatever, one of those two. So I don't know. I think wrestling should be canceled for the time being. I think they should, and I know AEW can't do this as much. I get why they have to, because they don't have content to lean on, unlike WWE, who has years and years of library to go to, and
a collection.
And honestly, like, I think this would be good for the wrestling world. Like, yes, wrestlers wouldn't be working as much. Again, I'm not advocating for wrestlers not to work or not perform or lose their jobs or none of that. I'm not. What I want is for the world to kind of get a reset, if possible, because then I think if and when fans return, or the crowds return in whatever capacity they're going to return in, the stories will be fresher. The energy will be different, because a lot of these performers who don't get to take a break will have gotten to finally spend time with their families, recharge, train, recover from injuries, all this shit. Like, actually get to enjoy the money they're making for once.
Yeah.
Not having to pay for their own travel, their own accommodations, because they're independent contractors, not having to pay for their own health insurance. You know what I'm saying? Like, they should be taken care of, at least for the rest of the year if possible. I don't know what that money is like for these companies, but they are backed by billions.
It's not even the money, bro.
So,
It's
well, that's what they always say. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we don't have the money. We don't have the budget. It's like, yeah, you do. You do. You just don't want to pay them because you have you have business goals to meet. You have quarter projections to meet, and you have shareholders to please. And you will sacrifice whoever you got to sacrifice to keep those guys happy. So that's why they're doing what they're doing. Again, I get it. You got to make whatever money you can make. I just think that everybody should just be shutting it down, especially since most of the game is shut down anyway. So gives these dudes a chance to rest. If you want to have specials, cool. If you want to have things here and there, all right. Like, I can appreciate all the cinematic matches. I can appreciate all the stuff that they've been doing to try to fill the gap. But honestly, I just want these people to just fucking have a season finale for both organizations and just prick it up near the end of the year, because the money you're making cannot possibly be worth the risk that you're taking for your performance.
Once again, it's not about the money, bro.
You know?
Like, what you talking about is literally impossible, son. Like, that's a real cool way of thinking about it, but at the end of the day, like, who you talking about right now are the stars. People who have their bread already, but there's a lot of motherfuckers that really can't afford for them just to shut shit down, son.
They could if they paid them.
Once again, yeah, but even within that
pay.
realm, you still can't pay everybody unless you're still making some type of revenue.
I understand that.
So, like, you can talk about paying everybody, but everybody ain't going to see the same amount of bread, which means certain people going to start bitching about not making the same amount of money as other people. So.
I understand all that. I understand there's going to be a lot of quibbling. The point is that...
That's what I'm saying. So it's not about the money, bro. It's about the...
But it is, because niggas still need to pay their bills. They still need to be taken care of. And they're still your employees, even though you're on this independent contractor bullshit. And this is just for the E. I don't know what contracts are like for AEW. But
if you want to talk about the E, yeah.
You know,
them...
They're the only ones I can point to, because I don't know what the business practices of a relatively new AEW. I don't know how they do, honestly. But even them, I have criticism of them, because they are asking their employees to come in and risk themselves. And yeah, I'm sure they're testing their employees. Yeah, I'm sure they're taking precautions. Yeah, I'm sure they're doing everything they can.
They're not asking anybody that's not voluntarily willing to show up.
Exactly. You know, and I know that a lot of these people just want to work, just like, you know, wrestlers are no different than everybody else in the American working sector. Like, they are just trying to be out there.
True indeed.
Plying their trade. I get all that.
But you have to give the same argument to Dana White and the UFC, son. Which, again, like I said, for him to do that is all the way impossible, son.
Definitely. But they also have more personnel. But
more personnel, and they don't have the TV contracts. I'll give you that.
Even if they had, like, it's more, and I don't want to belittle wrestling, but it's more of a quote unquote sport, and that the dynamics of what keeps that business running are different than what keeps this.
Yeah, you have more X factors.
They do similar things.
You have more X factors
but
involved. Yeah.
There's different rules. There's different things that govern. You know what goes on with that. Especially given that, again, to his credit, Dana White may not be popular or exactly respected all the time, but he's not a maniac.
No, he's a dickhole.
Like Vince McMahon.
That's one of his vitals.
Yeah, I get it. You know, and he acts very much like
that. Yo, in all reality, bro, what you talking about, son? What they should have done was, like, tape for like a month and a half, and then, like, had shit go from, like, now to like June or July.
And pre-tape as many shows as you can.
Yeah.
And see how much. And I'm sure they're doing this.
And then, like you said, like,
staff can show up and
have a special for like the 4th. And if you still got shit taped, do that for a little bit, and then come back somewhere like late July, August. But, you know.
Because my thing is these stories, again, I'm happy that niggas are getting paid. I'm happy that they're working. Good for them. You know, as long as they stay safe and not sick, good for them. But these stories are thin and will hurt your character in the long term. Like, that is my concern. Especially since a lot of these people who haven't been fired, who weren't fired on Black Wednesday they're calling it now, who weren't fired on Black Wednesday, find themselves in a unique position, because they're not going to be able to leave WWE, really.
No.
If they want to, or if they should decide that they need to. And God forbid somebody gets sick. Somebody we know gets sick. And then what?
I mean, then everything has to shut down.
Vince McMahon ain't going to take care of fucking Xavier Woods if he gets sick with coronavirus.
No. And
knock on wood. Not that I want Xavier Woods to get this.
Keeping it within the realm of WWE. No, if I did work for them, then no, I would not trust these motherfuckers at all.
Why would you? They have shown that they are not trustworthy. So that's what it comes at for me. Again, I have no knowledge of AEW, New Japan, or any of the other major promotions or what they're doing.
No, New Japan, they shut shit down.
Yeah,
they shut shit down. But like you said, they
are not working right now.
They already had a system where they were already able to take care of everybody because they actually cared about that type of shit. You
and
know what I'm
also
saying?
because those wrestlers are actually employed by New Japan. They're trying to flip them over.
Yeah. So like, because I think
that's what I'm saying. I feel like there should be more of a system in place. Like Vince McMahon, all I'm hearing is that Vince McMahon's in fuck it mode right now. Fuck it mode right now. It's just like, yo, you are acting even more irresponsible than usual. And then when you continue to hemorrhage money, you're going to blame your talent because, I don't have new stars. Oh, Brock Lesnar isn't on TV. John Cena isn't on TV. This guy, that guy, that guy. It's like, shit was sucking
Reigns has
on
cancer
TV or not, bro.
It's like it's a dickhead, son. He's like, come on, man. But again, that is.
I don't know. That's just my feeling on it. You're right in that the logistics of that are very difficult. I would ideally, and again, that's ideal, but I would ideally like it if like these people got a break and saw just like vast portions of the country who were lucky enough to get their unemployment and their stimulus and all that. Yeah. They deserve that too. They deserve to be able to these Catholic.
That's what I mean. Look, like everybody that needs and can afford to take a break, I'm quite sure are. You know what I'm saying?
Are. That's why Reigns was able to be like, fuck it, I'm out. Because he can afford to. You know what I'm saying?
And everybody again.
The foreign stars who live elsewhere were just like, look, I'm not coming to it. Like, go ahead, fire me.
No, hell no.
I'm not gonna risk my life for you, Vince.
No. You do what you want, bro. But you know what I'm saying? First of all, you could try to sue me, but no court is ever gonna fucking approve whatever the fuck you sue me for.
It's easier to fire them, like out of spite, and hope that they don't pop off somewhere else. But again, things are so strange because they already were before this shit hit with them. That they're just trying to make it, like many companies are.
Yeah, they were already a cesspool, man.
Yeah, they were not only were they already a cesspool, but they had a culture. And they're not the only ones, but they had a culture built on like, all right, we're really top heavy, and we don't really develop anybody until we absolutely have to, and we'll make fun of and abuse our own fans for being passionate.
Yeah, even though they're there every fucking week.
Even though they're the reason that we're afloat. Basically, without them, we're nothing.
Then they want to talk about that whole new, I guess the new plan or the new. Yeah, we're really going to start listening to you playing.
But they always say that every few years. I came back to wrestling in 2016, 2017. I've already heard that we're going to take care. I was hearing that back in the day in in 2004, 2005. Oh, we're sorry. We're gonna listen to y'all. And they never listen. Or they listen a little bit. And they're like, all right, we did enough. Now we're going to keep doing what we do.
We've lured you back.
Exactly. It's that abusive boyfriend tactic. It's just I'm gonna give you a little bit, just enough to have you come back, and then I'm gonna keep slapping you around.
Gotcha, bitch.
Yeah, that's what they did with the Canellises. That's what they did. Try to do the revival. That's what they did the Bullet Club.
Yeah.
These niggas actually re-upped, son. That's what I'm saying. They showed loyalty. There are various people who showed loyalty and got shit on for that because this man is an abuser, and that structure in that company is set on abuse and politics and favoritism. And that's everywhere. I understand it's everywhere, but especially in this company because that's their legacy of one madman's fucking vision and sense of justice in politics and how things should work versus seemingly common sense and people who want to preserve wrestling.
And more than anything,
he wants to preserve the company. They want to preserve the game.
And more than anything, his fucking checks,
especially the checks.
So, yeah, I mean, again, I can't ever get mad at anybody for getting their bread, but you know what I'm saying, when you have to bend over a barrel and just lay there and take it from Vince McMahon.
Nah, I just won't watch.
Yeah, exactly.
that's the problem. Like Vince doesn't realize, niggas really will just not watch. And
that's what people are doing. That's what's happening now, bro.
They think that the whales and the diehards will stay there forever. No, they won't. Not if you keep abusing them. You abuse somebody long enough, eventually they're gonna rise up or leave.
They'll take the abuse, but when you flat out just bottomed out when it comes to your product, I'm saying? Crackheads do move on. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. They want something better.
Yeah. They look for that new rock.
If you're running it into the ground on purpose.
Yeah.
It seems like just because based on whims or because you feel a certain way about somebody one day and then feel a different way about them the next. I don't think there's a way to run a company. Forget a wrestling company.
No. It's not any way to run any fucking business, period, bro.
But that seems to be an issue in America. It's not just Vince McMahon. There seems to be a lot of executives who have this line of thinking, this type of MO, how they operate. Clearly there's a great level of risk-reward ratio to this. All right, if I sacrifice all these people's lives, careers, etc., I'll definitely make it over here.
That's because everybody who's amassed a fortune understand one thing, son. When you appeal to the masses, that's when you're living with the classes. So... Now, in that regard, most of the people that live in classes believe the masses are fucking stupid. Yeah. And that's why they try to manipulate them.
And treat us the way they do.
They
think we're lesser. And that line of thinking permeates wrestling. It permeates a lot of things in this world. But sticking to
that permeates America in general.
It permeates wrestling heavily. And to have the number one organization be so influenced, and then to have that influence spread to the rest of the game because, all right, well, he's number one, even though we don't like how he does things, he's made it. So we got to do like he do because otherwise we're not going to make it.
You know what? Yeah, you could say that like 30 years ago, but not now.
Oh, I don't agree now. I just feel like that's the sentiment.
That was the mindset, but like there's been too many blueprints created to where it's like, all right, if you're just doing that,
frustration, man.
Yeah.
Like, this model only kind of works there because they took advantage of a lot of things and established a lot of things many years ago, like you said, 30 years ago. Now the game is very different, and they are not adapting, and won't because they're still number one, quote unquote. So as long as they're number one, like what's it gonna take? No one watching Raw? You gotta have 100,000 people watching Raw or fucking.
That and just fierce competition.
50,000 people watching Raw. He's getting it right now.
Oh yeah, and again, they still don't realize that they're really losing, son.
No, because they're number one still. They have the most money.
Yeah, all right, bro.
They're ahead. But again, coming out of this situation, they're gonna really have to reevaluate some things because their quarter losses are gonna be disastrous.
Their quarter losses have been.
They already are. That's what I'm saying.
Shits have been bad for
even more
years.
So. That's what I'm saying. Even more so, and these shareholders are gonna be like, what the fuck? Because we're losing our shirts because of this other shit that's going on in the world.
Oh yeah.
And you're gonna tell me that you niggas are hemorrhaging money because of reasons?
Oh no. Well, reasons because of Vince. Definitely because of the XFL now. Once again, which means Vince McMahon has failed twice when it comes to that.
Yeah.
COVID-19 or not, he's failed already, but without the virus.
And again, even if the XFL was a success, the shady tactics he took to get it off the ground would have caught up. Again, your two major fucking financial executives dipped off.
Yeah, because they knew what you were doing. So.
What you were doing, they didn't want to.
And they knew the shit wasn't going to work, bro.
And it's not probably entirely legal. And when this house of cards falls down, because it will, they don't want to be
big time, son. Big time.
I get it. I'd rather take my sweet little sevens package and get the fuck out of there before this ship sinks, because it's sinking right now. Unless they have some level of miracle or come up with a megastar.
No.
Shit, even if they do, it doesn't matter, because Becky Lynch, for example, is over as shit, and that hasn't moved the needle that much.
And she's not a megastar.
No.
She's not.
She's crossed over somewhat, but not really. Not really. So I don't know. At any rate, we're definitely over 2 hour mark, so I'm gonna call it. I feel like we've hit pretty much all the notes, but I just wanted to talk to the fact that and again, I appreciate that these men and women are willing to entertain me, that they're out there doing it. Thank you, especially after throwing on a pay-per-view like this one. I appreciate it.
Honestly.
I appreciated Money in the Bank, for the silliness that it was. I can appreciate that these people are bravely, and I don't want to be like they're heroes and whatever, like, but
no,
but thank you,
thank you to the real heroes.
Thank you for risking yourselves for wanting to put on a show for us, because you don't have to. No. Honestly, I mean, I'm sure some of you have to, like you said, with the mid-carders and people not making as much money, but For the most part, I'm sure you value your safety more than your money.
Yeah.
And are just there because love the game, or you gotta get that check, or whatever your motivation is. Thank you for being out there. And I guess I'll leave this with another RIP to the people we had mentioned earlier in the episode, Jerry Sloan, Chad Gaspard, and Hana Kimura.
Just any RIP that
any others I may have forgotten.
Anybody that means anything
ones.
to you, you know what I'm saying? RIP to them. So
yeah, those are the freshest ones in my mind. RIP to anyone who has lost anyone in this crisis, this pandemic crisis. I know we talked about this a lot in Our Glorious Return, but I don't think I mentioned the need to say, we're in this together and we should really stick together, especially as the world is trying to come out of this. I'm not anybody really, but I worry that we are going to march even deeper into the furnace because our government and the people who run the industries want to make money so bad and get people back to work that they will ruin things further. Things will get worse. And I don't know what else to say to that, but keep each other safe. And
I mean, look, if y'all
social distance, wash your hands, do
if
what you
if you don't really have any other choice and you really gotta go out there and do what you need to do, keep yourself safe. I mean, I get it because there are situations and
where you gotta get that money, you gotta work, you gotta.
They thought they were trying to help us, but they really haven't, and a lot of y'all are really out here fucked up,
risking your lives, man. So props to y'all for that. And,
thank you for that, and just keep yourself safe and just do what you need to make sure you're able to survive, man.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Do the YouTube guys. You do the YouTube guys. Do the YouTube thing, guys. Like, share, and subscribe, whether you came here by accident or stumbled here through the algorithm or are a fan of other friends of ours of the channel or whatever.
It wasn't by accident. If you're listening, then it was supposed to happen.
It was destined. You were destined to subscribe. So please do those things, especially the liking part, because then more people will see us in the algorithm and will listen, hopefully, to this.
Or even if y'all just want to say y'all niggas is mad whack for talking about wrestling, just
hey,
even that.
Engagement is engagement.
Please. We'll take it.
Like, share, subscribe, comment, call me a piece of shit, whatever. You're going to anyway. So, I'm here. This is my contribution to the world. Not that it's very heroic or anything, but I've been Liquid Snake.
And I've been the brother man, Show Money.
And I don't know what we'll do next time. I guess we'll cover UFC 250 in June.
No. We'll put a pause on all of that, and we'll finally get to the Snake Pit show, and we'll talk about some much more life invigorating shit. You know what I mean? Life, love, relationships, the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of the bag, and the pursuit of whatever fuck else y'all may be in pursuit of.
All your pursuits, all those impossible dreams of yours.
You know what I'm saying?
So stay tuned for that. And
this has been the Quiet Storm.
I guess is where we'll have someone edit in the rumbling storm, or
you know what I'm saying,
or you just need to make a beat, an outro beat with the rumble, the thunderstorm noise in it.
Yeah, stand by for the intro and outro beats.
Word up. We'll talk to y'all soon.